Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Quick video today. I just want to explain why I moved over to the Marrutt Inks system, what I thought about it and whether I thought it was worth the move in the end. So about 12 months ago I decided that I wanted to try and cut down the costs of the ink. My printer's very old now, it's over 10 years old. The cost of the inks are going higher and higher. Currently about £52 for a cartridge. I use the Epson R3880 printer, and to replace all 8 or 9 cartridges it's quite an expensive job. So I was starting to look around at some third-party options, and I sort of homed in on the Marrutt ink system. So looking at the Marrutt, I had a bit of dialogue back with their technical support and customer services because I had a few questions that I needed to be sure of before I started to make the move. Now the good thing about the Marrutt system is that you don't have to replace all of the cartridges in one go. We can replace each individual cartridge as and when the OEM starts to expire, and I liked the idea of that. So I decided to take the plunge. I looked at the OEM cartridges that was running low, and in my case it happened to be the Vivid Light Magenta. Photo Black and Matte Black, they're the ones that I go through the most of, and obviously the yellow, because that's used even though we use the advanced black and white driver. So I bought some. I opted for the 125ml bottles, and that's what they look like. That's the 125. I think they do a 60ml one and possibly a 250. I'm not sure about that one, but they certainly do one larger than this. But this is the one that I decided to go on based on the amount of printing that I'm currently doing. I looked at the costings of this, and it worked out that the Epson OEM cartridges was costing about 72p per millilitre, and the Marrutt one, based on a 125ml bottle, was working at about 24p per millilitre. The Epson is a standard 80ml cartridge, and this one is, in my case, 125ml, which is about 4 ounces, and that works out at about 24p per millilitre. If you went for the taller one, then the costings are going to come down even more. So I bought the inks. Then we have to look at how we are going to house those inks. We need some kind of a cartridge. So I bought the cartridges that Marrutt sell. I don't think these are proprietary cartridges. It just so happens to be the ones that are on their website. Again, they have a capacity of 80ml. They have a sticker on the end that tells us which colour it belongs to. And then on the top, we've got a chip. Now this chip here, again, I don't think it's proprietary to Marrutt. But what we have to do is we have to take the old chip off the OEM cartridge, and it's a very simple process. We just prise the old chip out and it just clips out of the old cartridge. Take this chip out, again it just prises out, and place the OEM chip underneath this one, because this chip must be reading data from the OEM chip. You get a full set of instructions. It really is a straightforward job. And then you just clip this one back in. The only caveat to this is that the OEM cartridge must have at least 10ml of ink left in order for this chip to communicate with it. So knowing that, I didn't let mine run down below, I think it was about 18ml, and then I swapped the chips over. I've still got the old cartridges because if I needed to I could go back, but I can't see that happening. So once I've got the new chip in here, then we have to fill this with ink. Supplied with the ink, we get I got a syringe, some syringes, And I don't know if you can see this, there's actually I'll take it out and we can look at it. I've got a syringe and then a needle, a blunt needle to go on the end. So all you do is you pull up the ink and then into the bottle. So to fill it was extremely straightforward. It was literally just a case of extracting the ink from the bottle and then putting it into this cartridge. Once the ink's in the cartridge, place it into the printer, just open the printer drawer, slide the cartridge in, you'll hear it click, close the lid down, and then in my case it recognised the cartridge instantly. And these cartridges over the last 12 months have been in and out as I've been filling up with ink, and every single time it's recognised the cartridge when I put it back. I've never had any communication issues between this non-OEM cartridge and the printer itself. So that is very, very smooth. So having got the ink in the system, and as I say, you don't have to replace them all. I've just been replacing the ones that I needed to replace. Then I turned my attention to seeing how good quality the ink is. So I did some scrutinous testing and I compiled a lot of these test charts, step wedges, and when I'm looking at the step wedge, I'm looking for a good transition of greys, very smooth gradients. I don't want any abruptness going from one shade of grey to another. This one was done with the Marrutt Inks. So that was my first test, and as I say, I did this on several papers, both matte and glossy and semi-matte and all different types of papers. So once I was happy that the transition of greys was good, then I turned my attention to DMAX. Now DMAX is where we print a step wedge or a patch, and we fill that with RGB 0 to give us the most black we can get on there. Let the paper dry, and then I measure that patch. So I start off by measuring all the patches, and at the same time I measured what I call the DMAX patch. And then from that I can take the value of each patch, and the Datacolor Spider software gives me that value as an L star value. So then I wrote a small Photoshop program. It was actually a Photoshop plugin, and that allows me to quickly type in the L star value, and then that converts it to a DMAX number for me. So instantly I can see the DMAX for different papers. Now when you're looking at a DMAX value, the higher the DMAX is, the deeper the black is that we can print. So if you can get over a DMAX of 2 on a glossy type paper, then it's a very good DMAX. A matte paper might be slightly lower because matte papers absorb the ink more. So having got the DMAX where I wanted it to be, then I decided to print some real life photographs, and this is one that I printed. This is a picture of a foxglove. This was printed on Marrut semi-gloss paper. So we can see that the blacks are nice and deep. We've got a good subtle gradation across all the greys. So a very pleasing print. So the question is, having used the Marrut system for over 12 months, do I think it was worth it? And for me, it was most definitely worth it. I'm saving a big cost on the printing itself. As I say, I've gone from about 72 pence per milliliter down to around 24 pence per milliliter. So that in itself is a big saving. But not only that, the quality that I'm getting out of these Marrutt inks is, to me, is superb. In fact, when I've been doing the tests, I've been comparing the results to some tests I did a few years ago when I was just using OEM inks. And in my honest opinion, I can't see any difference. The quality of the blacks are superb. The greys are excellent. I haven't done an awful lot of colour prints because my main workflow is black and white. But Marrut do offer a free profiling service if you want to use colour prints. If I did want to do colour, then I would create my own profile using the spider print. But certainly for the monochromatic work that I do, it's absolutely superb, the quality. So yes, for me, the transition over from OEM to the Marrut system has well been worth it. Quite a long journey for me because I was a bit hesitant at first, but now I've got there, it's something that I would certainly recommend to somebody else. So that's just a quick video on the transition for me from the OEM over to the Marrut non-OEM system. So if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. They do say that it helps with the algorithm, whatever that may be. So until next time, thank you for watching and bye for now.